You can open a restaurant or some kind of thing.
Yes, good idea. So in my family, my siblings always say that, "Bhaiya, you should have your own restaurant." So I said yes. After retirement, I will open Prof Corner.
So maybe we can do some kind of deal. So Chilmizas is a very good name for restaurant. Yes.
Right.
तो नमस्कार, सभी का स्वागत है आज के एपिसोड पे। और आज हमारे साथ है प्रोफेसर वसीम अहमद, जो कि IITK में इकोनॉमिक्स डिपार्टमेंट के प्रोफेसर हैं। तो सर, सबसे पहले तो IIT के इकोनॉमिक्स, तो काफ़ी लोगों को बाहर पता भी नहीं होता कि IIT कानपुर में इकोनॉमिक्स भी हो सकती है। तो फॉर एग्जांपल मैं भी इकोनॉमिक्स का ही हूँ। तो काफ़ी लोग मुझसे पूछते हैं कि मतलब आप इकोनॉमिक्स स्टूडेंट हो IIT कानपुर में, लेकिन मैं जब बताता हूँ तो लोगों को मतलब पता नहीं चलता कि इकोनॉमिक्स है। तो मैंने से एक सॉल्यूशन फाइंड किया कि मैं आजकल मैथमेटिकल इकोनॉमिक्स बोलता हूँ। तो लोगों को थोड़ा लगता है कि हाँ, ये सब्जेक्ट हो सकता है IIT में। तो यहीं से शुरू करते हैं। सर, आप थोड़ा बताओ IIT के इकोनॉमिक्स के बारे में।
Yes, so in IT system we have a very young department. So we started in 2017 in May, and economics has been there in IITK and across IITs from 1960s since we started the journey of IITK, and it was there for PhD program, and then it was also for UGs. So some of the HSS basket courses, it was available always as HSS 1, HSS 2. But then we took a big move, and finally when we started our BS program, and it took off well, and many of our students did really well. And you can think about academia, you can think about industry, you can think about bureaucracy. They have done well. So this gave us the recognition on campus, because this is a primarily, you can say, engineering institute. Economics as a conventional subject comes as a social science subject. So finally we got some recognition on campus, and our BS program started doing well.
But sir, our economics is different from other colleges. Like,
right,
we have cohorts and
so I will come back to that. So here it is that in 2017 we started this journey. So we are the first one among all IITs to have a separate department. So Department of Economic Science is a unique department, and it has right now more than 25 faculty members.
Okay.
So we are one of the largest, and the best part is that if you count on fingers the top institutions that we have, Ivy League, we have faculties graduated from there. So we have a very good, strong department. In India, if you count, then we are going to be the best one in game theory, because we have a lot of game theorists in our department. We are good at quant modeling. We are good at macro finance, especially those who want to get into this field. In applied, we are doing really well. So if you just compare across IITs, our economics department stands out, and it has that advantage. And I would give the credit to our students, because they have done really well. Counted from BS. Then last year, I would say last year we thought that we should have one more program. So we started from this year 2 years MSc program also. So that is also a very unique program. If you count, if somebody like you want to come to IITK and study, and if you want to ask that why economics I should choose, this gives you, IIT Kanpur campus as a very vibrant academics environment, and this gives you opportunity to explore more. So if you are registered in BS program, you are doing your eco things, and then you have eco basket doing, and at the same time you can explore computer science, you can explore mathematics, you can explore management. So this gives a really big mileage to our students, and in our department you will be happy to know that those who have done, we have a dual specialization also. So if you are specialized in economics, and if you are specialized in math, and also the major, we call it dual major, if you have a computer science, you have really high journey. So it starts really well. Even if you count in terms of placement, our figure is really good. And right now we are in a comfortable situation.
Okay.
But for outside world, those who are seeing from outside that how IIT Kanpur campus looks like and how is the environment, we are having a very, as I mentioned, vibrant academic culture, a good interaction between student and faculty, and we have very balanced course structure. Nowadays, since we are in the ranking zone and everyone thinks that our ranking and their ranking, how it works, but those who are graduated from here, I think in India the best coding campus that we have is IITK.
IITK was first one to offer CSE, right?
CSE, and also it offers a lot of I would say coding we are well known. Now we are getting into academics also, and we are having some more departments like.
सर IITK के academics काफी tough बोलते हैं कि like बाकी कॉलेजेस के कंपैरिजन में अपनी एवरेज सीटें थोड़ी कम रहती है.
But now we have streamlined that also. So now we have gone for granular grading. Earlier it was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. But now we have gone for granular grading. So we have solved that issue. But because of that we have less 10 CPIs. Earlier we used to have more. But now because this granular grading there is an impact. So those who are at top, we are finding it very difficult. So from A to A star has become really difficult. And the mid grade has gone up. So 7.58, it has become normal. But 9 to 10 is like big difference still, and because of this granular grading. One of the best things that, as you mentioned about academics, we are really well, and it's quite rigorous, I would say. And many times students avoid IIT Kanpur because they think that once you are there, then you have to study really well and you have to impress the teacher, as compared to other IITs that we have. And second thing is that if you count now, the ranking, IIT Bombay is now leading, Koi campus is popular, IIT Delhi is leading, but that is not because they are doing far better than us in terms of academics. They are because you have
because of location.
The location advantage that we can't have. But now I think infrastructure is improving everywhere. So now when we are well connected, then I think that will give us more mileage. But as of now, if you compare across IITs in terms of academics, the rigor that somebody should have, I think IITK stands out and it has that capability. And across IIT, if you see the complex problem that you have when it comes to solving, all IITs come to IIT Kanpur and look for solutions.
So in innovations, we are number one.
Right. So in a startup ecosystem that we have in India, and we are going for an indigenous growth model that we are in economics we study about. So startup ecosystem has helped and a lot of unicorns, but the exposure that we should be giving, I think we are continuously improving on that. So compared to unicorns that you have generated from IITB and IITD, I think compared to that, we are still trying to evolve. But yes, we are not lagging far behind.
So the government of India also, we have 13 to 14 secretaries who are from IIT Kanpur.
Right. And recently in US, they did a study that in Silicon Valley, among all unicorns, how many are from India and how many founders have graduated from India.
Okay.
And IITK had a good, I would say, presence compared to IIT Delhi, IIT Bombay, and then I think I remember that we were at second or third in terms of giving unicorns in Silicon Valley.
Okay.
So there in US we are making a big roadmap. IBM is headed by us.
IITK system is also, we say, copied from US system, the academic system.
I would say not copied, but yes, in the beginning we started evolving with them, but then we took a different move because our requirements were different. So for example, economics, it came as a requirement that so in Delhi it is a premier subject to study. So in Delhi, if you want to be in Delhi University, if somebody wants to get into academic, then he or she requires that kind of caliber.
Okay.
Because it is the foremost preferred subject. But in IT system, I think it was realized in 2007-8 that we should have, and then we started this journey. And since then it has been doing well. So the talk started much earlier that we should have economics in the IT system. IIT Kharagpur took the lead. They started first, the BS program. Then we also started. Now you can see across all IITs they are finding it easier and they are also copying it. So I would say yes, we had the culture We started with the US system, and in the beginning, IIT Kanpur was guided by top institutions of the US. But later, we had to go for our own requirements, and then we had to expand. And now we are in a phase where we are having the hostel shortages because we have so many students
Okay.
coming from different courses, new programs, new department. So campus
So
is
you're also warden of Foreman.
right.
So you know
Campus is full of opportunities right now. If you want to specialize in any domain, you have the opportunity. Even we have space sciences, we have a cognitive science, we have a lot of new streams which are coming up. Data science we started recently.
Yes.
And this program is doing really well. It is competing with some of the top programs on our campus, established program. Economics is improving continuously. If you see the JE rank, the rank holders, those who are joining our program, it is improving continuously. So that is also a very good field that we are having campus presence. BS program, we always take, I would say, pride in mentioning, because this program, the students in this program are really bright and they have done really well. You count on fingers, you will find them everywhere. And that's a brand that we would like to capitalize in future. We are also doing very well on one more aspect, is the PhD placement.
Okay.
So our PhD program is also a very established program. We have rigorous coursework, and with that students pass, and then once they go through that coursework, they work on thesis, and it will be surprised to know that majority of our students are in the top institutions in the country.
Okay.
So we are also heading in the right direction, and we have good synergy in our department, and that gives us a lot of opportunity, a lot of freedom. Students, they have a very good, I would say, vibrant academic culture. Junior, senior, they interact well, and lot of freedom. IIT Kanpur is known for student freedom, student friendly. So even if you are doing some mistake, it doesn't matter. They will take care.
Okay.
So IIT Kanpur, if you want to, if you are coming as a student, you have more freedom.
Yes, sir. We can roam around everywhere.
Everywhere,
24
and
hours.
even in academics, to choose any courses.
Yes, sir. Academic flexibility is very famous.
Very famous, and even if you are failed, IIT Kanpur gives you plenty of opportunities.
Okay.
You can, because failure is a part of success. So we consider that as we feel that even if student is not doing well for some reason, give him or her one more opportunity, and that's what we have been doing. And but we don't compromise on academics. The reason is there. So a lot of, I would say, professors are known for their notorious academic curriculum and how they. I use the word this. I use this word because not in a negative sense,
Okay.
but I'm saying that we have a good tit and tat kind of culture, where student is also expected to share, contribute, and teacher also tries his or her best. I think in terms of classroom teaching also, if you think about IIT Kanpur, it is having a unique environment in terms of teaching, and the feedback culture is very unique in this campus. That I have felt that once you teach a course, if you're doing well, students will appreciate, and they feel part of it. And you have the very frank culture also, that if you are not doing whatever you try to impress with something or the other, they will not coming to your or whatever impression that you try to give them, they will not be convinced. And the feedback culture is so strong that even some teachers, those who are not teaching, they get a good or bad review, and that bad review is counted.
Okay.
So that is like, you have to be regular, you have to try to improve upon, you have to give quality teaching with proper reference, everything. So that gives a unique culture. So even as a teacher, even I am not from IITK system,
Okay.
but I did not do my bachelor's here. But I feel sometimes jealous that the kind of environment that you have here, and the kind of motivation that teachers provide, and the kind of things that they discuss. I think I have talked to a lot of faculty members. They also say that here the mentoring is really good, and we should have tried at that time when we were
सर आपको
students.
कितना टाइम हुआ IITK में?
I joined in 2015,
Okay.
so June 2015, and since then it has been a good journey. And I joined as an assistant professor, and then I started teaching macro, and then I have been teaching that subject. Then I left that subject and then moved to. I also offered a lot of courses on finance. I also taught one or two times, I think 2 3 times Indian economy. That also gave a lot of mileage to students,
Okay.
and that course became popular also. And a lot of IAS, those UPSC aspirants, they got into this and they did well.
सर आपके कोर्सेज काफी डिमांड में रहते हैं IITK में भी.
Right. So it is because that if you think about macro, if you think about finance, these are the subjects. If you're a student of economics, you cannot ignore. Even if you're going in industry, even if you're working in anywhere, you need this. And once you are engaged in teaching, so I enjoy. I think teaching a lot of students. So in my class, if I don't have more than 60 and 70 students, then I don't feel comfortable. I feel like I'm not doing enough. So
Okay.
I take a lot of students, and I try to make sure that if they are doing something in class, then they should also have the reference when they go back. So I mention the books, that which book you have to read, which chapter you have to read, and from where I'm referring. So that gives them a lot of confidence that okay, we can discuss here also, and we can go back and read again. So I think it is not completely random, but yes, I give them proper reference and all, so that once they go out, they will have one book ready. That okay, I went through this book when I was doing this course, and at least they are comfortable with those chapters. So even when they go back after 5 years, if they have to look back, it will not be that tough. They will be just getting into. Right, so that's the opportunity that I provide to students. I think they like it, and that's what they
So
appreciate.
sir, other than that, how does it feel like to be a professor in IITK and other than academics?
I tell these things to my students also.
Okay.
That if you are IITK student and if you are good in academics, if you are maintaining the CPI of more than 8, you should try to come back to academics.
Okay.
Because if you are having like 8.59, you should try to get into academics, because we are having shortage of faculty members.
Okay.
And
Good faculty.
Good faculty. Those who can contribute. And especially with IITians, one advantage is that they are ready to take a new challenge. Right? So we call them blue blood. Right? So it is always heartening to see, and a lot of time we have tried to hire our own students. So this time we tried to recruit one student, but she declined for some reason, some personal reason. She is still in the US. But we tried to hire, and then we always try that if you have alumni coming, then they will always like to contribute, feel the place. And I always motivate students to come to academics, because academics is a good journey. You have a lot of freedom. No one is going to ask
Lot of money.
A lot of money also. People
Okay.
think that academicians, they live a simple life, but I think over a period of time, the market has opened and it has given plenty of opportunities to explore. So if you are interested in money making, you are allowed, and it is like in a fair way. You are
Okay.
not going to do anything, right? So, and lot of time students ask this question that, sir, I need money, so I don't want to get into academics. But yeah, academics requires some kind of humble background, right? Humble living. But nowadays, in the new liberal era, it has given you that boost, that you can explore up, you can go up to any extent and
Okay.
do things. Like for example, IIT Kanpur promotes startups also. So if you're faculty, if you're doing well, if you have some idea, you can form a team of students of IITK and start your own startup. And we have incubation center here on our campus. And I think a startup gives you infinite opportunity, right? In terms of monetary things, it gives you
So, but
infinite.
nowadays students are running in placements and all. I think in itni kam umr mein they should focus on startups or something.
Yeah,
new.
so here surprisingly, if you see the statistics of placement, So somebody who is getting like 1 CR in India, it is a big thing, and it is a lucrative thing, right? So, but you will find that the top odd numbers guys are not opting for job.
Okay.
So a lot of time the candidate is having very big offer in odd number, but he has gone for higher studies. So he has gone to Princeton, Stanford, doing PhD. So we have that trend that those who are at the top, even they are having offer, they opt for academics. They go out. Like for example, this time I think President Medal, the person who received the President Medal, if you see his interview, he mentions that he would like to go abroad and do some research and then come back.
Okay.
So that trend has started. People have started feeling it. But one, apart from money and fame and the culture that we think about, the best part of academics is that it gives you opportunity to explore an area in a detailed way. So you can spend 10 years also, you can spend 15 years also, and try to add value to that. That is the feeling that if you are into that game and if you understand what I'm trying to say, you will never be coming out of it. And that's why you'll find that many professors, they are on a simple cycle going around, but if you talk to them, they have the stuff.
Okay.
And you will really feel about it. So academics is all about exploring new things, exploring new idea, pursuing an idea, trying to convert that idea into something, and you are always lost in that field. So it's like I always say, though I should not use the term, it's like drug. You are academics is also like a drug. Reading and writing becomes a normal part of your life, and you don't feel like whether it is 10 o'clock night or 1 o'clock night or 2 o'clock night. It's common. So a lot of profs on campus, you will find them. You'll find that they reply at 4 a.m.
Okay.
Somebody at the end
For
of
surprise quiz.
for surprise way, so they write an email at 4 a.m. and you will be thinking that what this guy is doing at 4 a.m. So he's awake, he's doing something, exploring. So this field requires very different kind of orientation. So academic journey that you mentioned, I think people should try to come to academics because we need people in this domain.
Okay sir, now talking about Indian economy,
Right.
since आप वो पढ़ाते हो तो अभी जो इंडियन इकोनॉमी चल रही है लाइक पूरे वर्ल्ड में आई गेस रिसेशन चल रहा है, बस हिंदुस्तान इकोनॉमी थोड़ा ठीक ठीक चल रहा है,
Right.
तो उसके बारे में आप कुछ बताइए.
So as such, I taught this course long back, but now I am into macro and financial econometrics and international finance. But yes, being part of India, so here the Indian case is unique because what has happened that India is an economy which is backed by its own demand. So domestic demand matters. So and that's why you'll find that majority of the global companies are ready to come to India because even if they have the market share of 2% and 3%, that gives them a huge mileage as compared to they are in Europe and somewhere operating. Right. So and since we have the rising middle class and especially those
Developing
who are,
country.
as in part of I would say emerging country that we have. So it is giving the opportunity, but problem is that our economy is service sector driven. So service sector has large share, and service sector is highly dependent upon outside economy, right? So you can see IT sector, you can take into account banking, financial services, back-end offices that we have in India. So since US and Europe, all these economies are still recovering, they are into the stagnation phase, so they have to come up. Because of that, we are seeing a new trend that in India also we started feeling the hit of it. And Make in India process we have started that we are going for import substitution policies, but I think it will take time. It is not going to be so easy. So now we have started subsidy programs and we are giving subsidy to manufacturers. But the challenge is that once the subsidy is going to over, will they be in India or will they be moving out? So that some kind of debate has started that we are giving subsidies and in turn we are trying to expect a better return. But will that be fine? So those angles we have to look at. But services sector is a major driver for our economy. You will be surprised that around 17 states in India are now dependent upon services sector.
Okay.
So which means that if service sector is not do well, then we will be in a deep trouble. and I expect that the US has started picking up, and
Okay.
they are getting good numbers in growth and all. So I think there'll be fresh investment in all activities, and then we'll have new projects coming to our IT companies, and then things will improve, because that's what there we require more attention. The manufacturing sector base will take some time, I think.
इंडियन इकोनॉमी की हिस्ट्री भी काफ़ी मतलब अजीब सी रही है, लाइक पिछले 40 साल का उठाए तो
And right,
तो
so if you just shed a light on the journey of India's economic history,
इससे
then
बिकॉज चाइना की बात करें तो चाइना शायद इन 40 years back इंडिया एंड चाइना वर अराउंड ऑन द सेम लेवल आई गेस.
so here India's story is also remarkable, that when we compare with China, then we feel that we are lost, but we have also done very well. So I will just give you the brief history of it. That we started with state-led capitalism, that the government was given the full control of everything, and then the inefficiency started, because once you give the a full control, then the Babu culture that we have, the IS job, which is very popular, it started with that era.
बाबू कल्चर.
Babu culture, because it started with that era. Because a lot of red tapeism gave them a lot of opportunity to exploit and control, and that gave rise to this position as one of the dream jobs in India. Earlier it was not. Earlier it was just a job where you have control, but you will be doing. But the informal setup that started with red light and all that, how it becomes very attractive to youngsters, and how it has got big name. By 1970s, we started feeling that it is not going to work. The state-led capitalism is not good, and a lot of inefficiency started. Government started incurring huge losses. Then we adopted the then we went for disinvestment kind of policies. So government started taking out some of the activities, and they also started rolling back some of the activities which they were there earlier. By 1980s, I would say, we made a big change in foreign exchange regulation. This particular thing was done, I think it was Indira Gandhi time, second term, and then it was done to promote the domestic industries. But then at that time, IT sector was taking a shape, and they took the big advantage
So
of
it
this.
took a boom around Rajiv Gandhi's tenure, right?
Rajiv Gandhi. So there was a computer policy announced at that time. So IT policy was announced. So that we call it as the Computer Commission, also informally. So then it took a big drive there. But the purpose was not to give this benefit to the services, but services took the benefit of manufacturing.
Okay.
So and then the NASCOM came. So NASCOM story is very popular across globe, that how NASCOM has helped shape the IT sector in India. And then we started doing well on services sector. Mostly the IT boom started after that.
Then an economist become Prime Minister of India.
Right.
So how was that era?
And that era was really unique, I would say, in terms of growth. I think we have not been able to achieve that journey yet, because we were talking at that time about achieving the growth rate of 10% or 11%, because that was the talk at that time. Now we have converted those talks into $1 trillion. Right, so earlier we were not talking about $1 trillion and all. We were more into growth, that how we can compete with China, because China had a double digit. At that time, you will find that post 2000, at that time Atal Bihari Vajpayee government was there, and then we took the measure, we liberalized the IT sector, telecom sector basically. So at that time it was a feel good factor. Those kind of political slogans were raised, because at that time when we liberalized the telecom sector, the mobile boom started, the wireless mobile boom
Yes,
started.
yes.
And that gave rise to the full-fledged lot of IT's telecom-based services that we have. And then by mid of 2000, we had a middle class rising kind of slogans, because IT sector gave a lot of money and people started participating in it, and it started taking a big shape in terms of job creation. Government also gave them a lot of incentives. By 2007-8, we started facing difficulty because of the US global financial crisis.
Okay.
And then post that we tried, but then the domestic disturbances started with the FDI policy change, then the protests and movements
So
started.
उस टाइम आप PhD कर रहे थे 2007
Right,
के around?
right. I started PhD in 2011.
11, okay.
I finished in 2014. So,
Okay.
so in 3 years I did my PhD. But at that time I was at that time in 2007-8 I was in corporate. I was working with a hedge fund, and
Okay.
then uh, my role was as an economic analyst, but I was economist. And luckily, in our department, Mohammad Arshad Rahman, he also worked in the same organization.
Okay.
So at that time, I was not knowing him, but I came when I joined. He had already
So
left.
why you left corporate? Like
Corporate, I left because I started my journey well, and I was well paid, well served, well appreciated. Also, received a lot of award for my contributions. But then 2007, a global financial crisis came, and at that time the situation was really bad. And I had already good scores in my masters and all, so I was 9 pointer, and then among toppers also. So all my teachers used to motivate me that why are you wasting time in industry? You should join PhD.
okay.
I said okay, I will join because when into industry you have that culture that you like party and going late night out and those things.
So ना बाहर के लिए सोचा था बाहर से PhD करने
Yes,
का?
bar I tried in UK, and since at that time 2007-8 it was really tight market, and we had a lot of work to do, and I was finding it difficult to manage for GRE and all. So then I tried in UK. I got into Nottingham, and then I also had one more offer from Liverpool somewhere.
Okay.
And then I had interaction with I would say profs, and they were ready, and they were, but because of some kind of a scholarship and financing issues, and then I come from humble background, so not that much
Okay.
financial support from back. So then I thought I should not waste time. I should start and then finish it on time so that I can get into some other businesses. But by 2007-8 I started exploring academics, that what is this job. Then I went back to my props and I told them that I would be interested. Then they said that okay, then we are happy that you have at least thought about it. So then they started giving me academic work, for example, writing, attending conferences, presenting papers in conferences. I started liking it, and then I thought, okay, I think this area, I think I can do well. And since then, I've never looked back, and then the life has been going on.
Okay. Sir, after your PhD, you also आप लंदन स्कूल इकोनॉमिक्स भी गए थे.
Right.
So what was that?
So there, I got the Suresh Chaudhary Fellowship Award, and I received in 2019. Then COVID
Okay.
came. I didn't travel, but I told them that I want to finish it from here. Then they said, no, you have to come there. It was good experience to interact with a lot of young, I would say young researchers, senior, I would say senior faculty members, and they were well receiving. And I also discussed with them a lot of new ideas how to work on. And then I got a big funding from UK government and also from Indian government. It is called UKRI, and in India we have Indian Council of Social Science Research. So both, so while I was having this fellowship, I got a project also funded.
Okay.
So UK LSE received huge money because they received around $500,000
Okay.
pound, and then I received in India also funding, and then we started working on fintech ecosystem. So our job is to find out the policy channels through which we can create some kind of fintech bridge between India and UK. So unicorns or startups operating in UK can explore the Indian market. At the same time, the possibilities of I would say providing a platform for Indian startups to go to UK and start operating there.
So you're still working on it.
Yes, I'm still working. We explored fintech ecosystem from a very organic point of view, and we found that in terms of funding, the signaling theory is working. Signaling theory in the sense that if you're a startup founder, your background will matter. If you're coming from IIT, so funders also look at it that okay, he's coming from IIT, he's more capable. So whether those factors are playing in case of fintech, we examined at a very detailed level, and I think that paper will come out soon from one of the top journals. And then we looked at the whether the startups promoted through incubator, accelerator, whether those startups are doing well. So we did this study for both India and UK. In India, we had a big sample to cover, but data is a major challenge. We explored some databases also, and we had to collect data manually. So we have a lot of people working on it. We have a Sussex University prof, we have a London School of Economics prof,
Okay.
and I have joined. And some people are also working from IIM Bangalore, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. So only 3 institutions received this grant. So we are giving the final shape to fintech ecosystem in India. So from all the angles, regulations and point of
Okay.
so,
Nice.
so fintech is an interesting domain. Right now, in India, it started well, and then the banking sector has almost eaten this space, almost like. But still, we are having some more startups coming in from different domains, macro lending, and then we have a P2P. Then we also go for, like, for example, lending card and all these startups that we have. But from regulation side, SEBI is still coming up with norms. PFRDA for pension products, for example, NPS, they want to align with the fintech setup. IRDA insurance products. If you want to buy insurance nowadays, ACCO and all these companies are coming. But if you want to buy an insurance product, they are also trying to link it with the fintech. That a fintech startup can be part of it. uh, RBI has started Innovation Hub, so that is also one regulatory framework. RBI is working on sandboxes, because sandboxes in the sense that you have a startup, how much freedom should be given to this startup.
Okay.
So regulation is all about that. So you have created a fintech startup. From RBI point of view, we look how much we can define the periphery that you can operate within this, and then or we can create a sandboxes, so that
Okay.
regulation that we have. So in that, what is happening that suppose a startup has started accepting payment without OTP,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that, or it is releasing the payment without OTP, up to what amount it can do, right? So there the regulation comes. You cannot transfer without OTP 1 lakh rupees, right? So there are some regulations on that. What will be they cannot accept deposits. So e-wallet system has started. So e-wallet, you can save some amount, but there is limit also. You cannot save 15 lakh, 20 lakh in that.
So Indian model is based on saving model, like Indian
Yeah,
सेव
that-
काफी करते हैं and
right.
बाहर लोग इन्वेस्ट करते हैं.
Right. So I think that culture has started also changing in India. If you see the Gen Z that we talk about,
Gen Z, okay.
right? So if you talk about this generation, then they are saving less, spending more.
Spending more.
So once you have the credit card culture coming in, so then the spending habits goes from A to E automatically. So
Okay.
what is happening is the EMI culture was not there, but now because of Bajaj Finserv, that culture is started. So you'll find now, you go on any e-commerce website, Amazon, if you're buying a product beyond, like, for example, 10 or 20,000, they will not show you 20,000 rupees of this product. They will show you EMI
3,000 rupees,
3,000
2,000
to
rupees.
2,000 rupees. Which, what is the purpose of that? It is hitting the psycho of the person that if you spend 3,000 rupees, you can own this product, right? And so that is also one way of not saving the money.
So banks are also making lot of money from credit cards.
Yes, banks. So credit card business is a very, I would say, risky business for the banks also, because it if the customer is paying you on time, it is all good. But if it disappears, then it is your loss.
So once you also mentioned in class also
Right.
that आप एक debt trap में फंस जाओगे.
Right. So in some cases, credit card culture, because the younger generation, they don't understand. So in case of credit card, what is the most difficult part is that if you have outstanding of suppose 1 lakh rupees, and bank is asking you to pay 25,000 rupees, we'll have something in mind before spending. That okay, I have gone this time 1 lakh rupees. From next time onwards, I'll be careful.
Okay.
But what some banks are doing is that they are asking for a very minimal payment. The minimum balance is going to be the minimum balance is going to be like minimum payment requirement is you have 1 lakh outstanding, you just pay 5,000 rupees. So they are charging on 95,000 rupees the rate of interest, and again you pay 5,000 rupees. So again, so you are into the full trap.
Okay.
And
सभी colleagues वगैरह आते हैं से तो advices लेने financial advices.
right. So yes, I think a lot of people come to me for those kind of thing, but I normally avoid because these things are personal things.
Okay.
So it may work in my case, it may not be working, and people think that taking loan is a bad thing. But taking loan is also a good thing that it motivates you to work more because then you have a headache that okay I have to work and I have to explore more. So it increases your productivity by force, you can say. And second thing that if you are suppose for example you have borrowed money for this purpose, so you have the full-fledged instrument ready. Now you'll be focusing on something else. Not that how I can get this and calling some friend that you give your camera and then have to go for recording. You have your own setup. Now you'll be thinking of something and how we can make it better.
Okay.
Right? So that opportunity it gives you, right? Without that it was not possible. It is some kind of opportunity creating activity. And you can pay back, but once you started working and you're putting 100% effort on making it better rather than thinking about how to create the things around, that gives a better mileage. So a lot of time I advise to some of my colleagues that even if you have money to borrow, you can borrow and walk on, and then you'll not be thinking about that. Oh, I don't have this car, I don't want that car, and something. You can explore a bit more and do well.
So talking about borrowings, इंडिया पे भी आज काफ़ी डेब्ट बढ़ता जा रहा है धीरे धीरे, तो उस पे आप कुछ कहना चाहोगे? लाइक इंडिया इज डेवलपिंग कंट्री एंड डेब्ट इज इंक्रीजिंग.
So I would say I teach also in class the calculation is very simple. How much a country should have the debt? Should country go for debt or should a country not go for debt? Here the idea is simple that debt, if you're borrowing some money, for example you borrowed money for building an airport or laying down a fresh road, greenfield investment from Mumbai and Delhi that we have green corridor, right? Now if you are borrowing for that purpose, it is going to liquidate your economy and you can pay back later. So debt is not a bad thing, especially a lot of people they feel pride that India has so many $1 billion of reserves, for example $400 billion. The counter argument is that you are keeping that amount of money which you would have invested in the economy, created demand, maybe a better education, better healthcare, but you are keeping that money just to manage the foreign exchange rate or something. So debt, if you think about, if I am earning 8% growth rate and my interest payment capabilities, the obligations are only 6%, 2% I still have the gain, right? So interest growth differential plays very important.
So debt is not a bad thing. We should look for innovative ways for flow of money.
Especially in case of India, where you have a huge population, young population looking for opportunity, and you have to create this because demographic dividend that you are having, and demographic dividend comes once in a lifetime. If you have not utilized fully, you will remain backward for forever.
Okay.
So during this time, you think about how much I should borrow and how much I should have debt. You should not worry about. You should simply borrow money, invest, create opportunities. You'll get good tax returns, and those taxes you can use to pay back.
सर पड़ोसी मुल्क की बात करें तो उनके केस में काफ़ी खराब सिचुएशंस चल रही है.
Right.
फॉर एग्जांपल पाकिस्तान, तो बांग्लादेश,
श्रीलंका.
सर उनके केस में क्या हो रहा है?
उनके केस में problem is that Pakistan is a unique country. Pakistan is a country where the country is poor, people are rich.
So हाँ, पाकिस्तान में जो बड़े बड़े जनरल्स एंड ऑल होते हैं उनके बच्चे विदेश में लाइक टॉप इंस्टीट्यूशंस में पढ़ते हैं.
So Pakistan is a country where it is always called that Pakistan is a country where the country is poor, people are rich. So why it happened? Because they don't pay tax.
Okay.
So majority of the people, they live in Dubai, they live in somewhere else, they work outside and they send the remittances. Government does not charge on that. So even if the income is very high, they will use some agriculture land or something to compensate that they will not have to pay the taxes. You can just see the some of the influencers, they upload the houses that they are selling in Lahore or some nearby. You'll be surprised at the kind of houses that they sell. Then you feel that how come they are not doing well, because the kind of houses they are selling of 20 crore or 30 crore, right? So Pakistan economy, it started really well. So we were struggling. So since 1960s we started eating fertilizers.
सर हमारा बजट तो काफ़ी कम था, शायद 470 करोड़ का राउंड था.
Right, and there with the help of US and some I would say European
So
country.
we built institutions, many institutions.
At one point of time, you'll be surprised that Pakistan government had given money to Germany to recover from the Second World War.
Okay.
So that kind of situation they had. Till 1970s, they were doing really well. They had all types of projects because they did not go under food shortage and all, PL 480 because after partition, the major parcel of land, the good land, they had got. We received only, you can say, Punjab, and then it comes to Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh, and rest of the areas where we were supposed to get that much productivity was not that good.
Okay.
So that's why if you see the Green Revolution, it started in this zone. But if you go that side, Pakistan side, they already had enough. So they did not see this. They focused on good education, good healthcare. By 1970s, Jalak came, and that was very conservative kind of move. And then at that time, Jalak had gone for some kind of Islamization of Pakistan, I would say.
Okay.
So he did this Islamization hardcore. In India also right now, Kattarwad started. So that Kattarwad gave I would say a lot of opportunity to those who were associated with this. So attack on Ahmadiyya started. So Ahmadiyya people were very innovative and very intelligent. I think a lot of top economists that you have in the world from Pakistan, they are all Ahmadiyyas. Even the Nobel laureate was Ahmadiyya, right? So by 1970s, this guy comes, and he was a general, military general, and then he hanged Zulfikar and all politicians. The Islamization started in Pakistan, and because that mullahs came on top,
Okay.
the scientists went back, and they were told that what you are doing, the God is the only one who will give everything. Who are you to decide? So then the Pakistan economy started dragging into some kind of conservatism, and then the modernization that they had whatever the measures were taken post independence, it all started getting down because people started moving out to UK and some other countries because they found that their children and next generation, they found that it is not very progressive in Pakistan to live. So they went out. So in
Okay.
UK and some other country, you'll find a lot of Pakistani well settled, even in Gulf. So the innovative class started moving out, the talented class. So what you have is just the mediocre class, which you are just living in, right? So in cricket, they started doing well and they started celebrating, but from science and technology side, STEM side, they did not focus. So I think there is a very good writer, physicist. His name is Parvez Hodboy. He writes in the Dawn and other newspaper. On YouTube also you'll find a lot of his talks. Though I don't agree with all his points, but some of the points are really useful. So he had derailed already to Islamization. So people started talking about Quran reading and all those things, getting back to the old school of thought. And then the political establishment also started using that. So did not counter it. So if they would have countered immediately, then the Pakistan would have been somewhere else.
Okay.
So they started also getting into that. Okay, so they also started inviting mullahs on top meetings, and also these mullahs started sitting on the political party leadership. They started
काफी
guiding.
अनस्टेबल सिस्टम रहा वहाँ पे, 5 साल गवर्नमेंट सिस्टम, 5 साल
Right,
military
right.
system.
So that is the, I would say, constitutional establishment. Because of that, they get this benefit. So the army is given. In India, we don't have that kind of freedom to the army. So they just report to president and some people, and that's what they exist. So they have to abide by the rules of the president and all the. I think PM is also having some more say, but there you have two arm lengths, and that gives I think a lot of trouble. But the focus was that why that they are struggling right now. If you if you try to understand the history of it, so it started from 1970s. So Jawahar gave this opportunity of Islamization, and a hardcore Islamists started rising, and then 9/11 happened, and then they got a lot of money. So why there is a rivalry between Pakistan and Afghanistan because of 9/11? Because they
Okay.
gave the land to bombard the Afghanistan. They approached US approached India also, but India declined. At that time, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the prime minister, so he declined. He said we will not allow our land to bombard the some other country. So that's why the Afghanis they enjoy in India with India well compared to Pakistan. So this trouble Talibanis since 1970s they were already there. So they started also getting a major role. Then the tussle started between politicians and the hardcore. So a lot of bomb blast and all this rule of law and order situation started deteriorating. So at that time also many Pakistani moved. Right now the situation that we have in Pakistan it is all because of that. So
Okay.
inefficiency from the beginning it has been dragged off, and that they are finding it difficult to handle now. So it is like a ticking bomb kind of thing. So it can blast any time. So politicians are not able to handle. Now people do not have any trust on the armies, and then some of the factionists, those who are in Balochistan and all, they also want to get out of it.
Okay.
So it is a ticking bomb. In case of Bangladesh, the condition is different. In Bangladesh, what has happened that when they got independence, they focus on the I would self improvement. The challenge was different. They also focus on apparel industry because of that they have good support. But right now, if you just see, there is a protest in Bangladesh which is about hike in wage of these workers.
Okay.
They're gig worker basically. They don't have any pride of being in job or they want to be CEO. They're just producing. That culture may not help that much.
Okay.
And as per the climate change expectation, prediction is that the Bangladesh will be underwater and by next 30 years or so. So that they also have to look about. Third thing is that Bangladesh has started doing well on economic front. So low income category in advantage that they have duty free export and all that is going to go. So they have to think about alternatives now. But with Bangladesh, one unique thing that as an economist I have found that Bangladesh looks very good on paper, but if you see the quality of life and improvement, you see better quality of life in Pakistan compared to Bangladesh, and that is very strange. So maybe there is some kind of I would say corruption, manipulation happening. That on paper they are like Bengal tiger, but if you just see on YouTube the channel that you
Mhm.
have, YouTube channel that you have, right? They you find that the life is still struggling. Maybe the population is so huge, the land is very small, so that it's very difficult to find out. But you see better roadways, highways, the living style in Pakistan compared to Bangladesh. I fail to find this kind of boom that I see that Bangladesh is doing better than India. But why it is not being seen in the lives of the people? That when I
Okay.
see, so that contrast you have to understand.
तो सर अदर देन एकेडमिक्स और पर्सनल लाइफ पे उसमें जैसे काफी पर्क्स भी होते हैं प्रोफेसर होने के, आपको विदेश घूमने को मिलता है एंड ऑल,
Right.
तो यू लव टू ट्रैवल एंड ऑल, या फिर फ्री टाइम में क्या करते हो?
So normally I am not very travel freak, but yes, whenever I get time I travel, and IITK Kanpur any academic job gives you freedom to explore, and it is counted. That okay, you travel to these places and you go for networking, you connect with props, and then you work, you create your own group and work. But nowadays, after internet on Gmail, you can connect with many
Okay.
people, right? So I normally go by that, and I don't get that much time. But when I'm free, I just work on new ideas. I sit with students, and whenever I'm into the game, so I enjoy academics. So I read new things, what is going on. So if it is fintech, then let's hate about televisions.
Only fintech.
And then
I think like movies and all, yeah, वैसा कुछ.
movies, I watch sometime when I get time. Otherwise, I'm more on YouTube.
Okay.
So because I think YouTube, despite OTT platform that we have, so earlier I used to go for Netflix and then Hotstar and all, but now I watch matches that we have cricket, football I like, and sometimes some sports that I enjoy is badminton. I
Okay.
like tennis, lawn tennis that I like. I also went to UK and I watched the Wimbledon match.
Okay.
So that was like a bucket list kind of thing. And then I also went to Birmingham to see the Commonwealth Games. So I
Okay.
cheered for Indian team. So that is what. But I am more on YouTube because YouTube gives you a variety of things to
So any
watch.
more things in bucket list?
Bucket list, yes, we have some more. For example, from travel side, from a sports side, I want to go to Manchester and see
Okay.
the soccer. And then in India, I went to Lucknow for last match to watch the live match because World Cup. So
Okay.
Australia and I would say Sri Lanka match I watched. Uh, I travel Lucknow.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I love cooking sometimes.
Okay.
So cooking is I am like perfect in cooking. So whenever I'm free, I feel like I'm not doing anything. So let's explore and cook new item, new. So
So you watch YouTube for this, like some new dish and all.
So if, I should not mention here, but if you see my so in iPhone you have a continuous learning, right? So one video you watch the similar content will be generated for you. So if you watch mine history, then it will be all like talking about food, this item, that item.
So you are a foodie.
So yes, you can say. And whenever I get time, I travel to Lucknow for lunch. So I just go there for lunch, and then I come back by evening. I just go for watching movies. So last was this Jawan I watched.
Sir, please don't hesitate to invite me someday for dinner.
She also in my colleagues group or we have very small bubble, I would say, on this campus. In my bubble, people know me for good party, and so I think barbecue I do. I whenever I get time, like for example, winter is coming, so if you are around, I will invite you, and then
Okay.
you can come and have a good barbecue with me, because I do that. And then I love cooking biryani, and I also
So you can
like
open a restaurant or some kind of thing.
yes, good idea. So in my family, my siblings always say that, "Bhaiya, you should have your own restaurant." So I said yes. After retirement, I will open Prof Corner.
So maybe we can do some kind of deal. So Chilmizas is a very good name for restaurant. Yes.
Right. This, we can do it. So I told him that I will open Professor's Corner,
Okay.
and there the most famous item will be Professor's biryani
Okay.
on the menu.
So biryani is your favorite.
Right. So
Sir, Hyderabadi or Lucknow?
I cook by my own
Okay.
own style, and I like that. And in terms of food, yes, I when I go out travel, I explore different types of food, and I appreciate that because it depends upon temperature and the culture that we have.
Okay.
So even I'm a big fan of vegetarian food. Whenever I go, I find out, I travel, and I've lived in south of India for more than 5 years, so I am familiar with most of their cuisines.